Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I got to talk about the markets are looking good and someone, or maybe a group of people, bought close to $1 billion worth of Bitcoin yesterday. So let's talk about all these things and more. Let's get started. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and make sure you follow my other channels as well. Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's looking good. It's looking good this morning. We may have some explosiveness, some major movement that is imminent right after the bell rings. So right now in the U.S., you can see futures market very, very deep in the green. Dow plus 600, NASDAQ almost plus 300. And what's the reason? Well, I don't know. There's really nothing that came out that would explain yesterday and today other than, like I've been saying, we're heading into November, December. The Christmas rally may have started already. And this is despite all these bank CEOs who we really should not trust. We should really take what they say with a grain of salt or a dump truck full of salt because they're still all claiming that it's really bad. It's really bad, guys. For example, Goldman Sachs CEO right here, right on the front, says that there's a good chance of recession, so it's time to be cautious. Again, what's this talk about? There's a good chance of a recession. We are in recession already. By definition, we're in a recession. We have been in recession for many, many months. Growth measured by GDP has slowed down for 2 consecutive quarters and probably slow down for 2 more quarters. It could keep going. So we're already in that recession. So I don't know what these guys are saying. But just recently, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon also said the same thing. In 6 to 12 months or 6 to 9 months, we'll be in recession. What kind of recession are they talking about, though? I don't know what definition they're using. Even I saw this. Even the chief economist for the National Association of Home Builders already declared we are in recession, and he forecasts that the GDP will fall 5 out of 6 quarters all the way until the second half of 2022. That's how you measure recession, through GDP, through growth or decline, right? But anyways, we still have a lot of these banks. You know, they're telling everyone, they're warning everyone that it's bad, it's going to get worse, right? But their earnings look pretty good. So are they trying to fake everyone out, you know, trying to declare everyone from buying back in while they're buying up cheap equities and cheap Bitcoin? Maybe. There's no doubt there's still a lot of macro conditions out there, for sure. A lot of macro conditions, and inflation has not gone away. But I just find it curious that they're all coming out one after another, declaring that there's a chance of recession. Seems a little weird. Maybe this all ties into the elections that's coming up too next month. Maybe. All right, so we got some bad news. Also, Bank of England, I don't know what I mean, honestly, I don't know what UK is doing. They're backtracking constantly. Seems like every single day now. The pressures, you know, from the people are just getting to them, and they don't know what's going on. It seems like they're just going with what people want. So now Bank of England, we know that there's a new finance minister. The old one was fired. There's the previous tax cuts, the proposed tax cuts, all gone, removed, right? Bank of England was buying gilts like left and right because the bond market and pensions, you know, they were looking weak, right? And now they're delaying sales of government bonds because investors are saying, no, you guys should not be selling that at this point because the bond market or the gilt market in UK is still shaky. So why would you guys want to upset it? I mean, it makes sense because they just got done with their emergency initiative to buy long-term or long yielding bonds. And then now they're set to sell more short-term bonds. So it doesn't make quite a lot of sense, right? But they just keep flip-flopping. It's like who's in charge right now? Who's calling the shots? Isn't the Bank of England, aren't they supposed to be more educated and more in tune with what's going on? They shouldn't be sort of coming to pressures of the investors, right? So again, every day there's some kind of news about what's going on in UK, and none of it seems pretty positive. All right, now moving on to some positive news. We see Bitcoin right now at 19.6, right? Can we see 20K today? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we can get back up to 20K and break through some of our previous highs. And this may be a sign that whales are really stocking up. So just yesterday, $750 million worth of Bitcoin exit exchanges. This only happens when you have large whales or a single whale, maybe Michael Saylor himself, or maybe it's Kanye West. I just covered about him yesterday. Or maybe it's just a group of banks that have been telling people to sell while they're buying. Who knows? But we have seen periods like this before where you have massive amount of Bitcoin leaving exchanges. Now, this does not translate immediately to a huge price hike. Obviously, if you look at this chart, you'll see that there's been the red shows net flow, and when net flow is a negative, you could see it doesn't always translate to a huge price spike, okay? I get it, but what this means is there's more and more entities, institutions, whales that's stocking up right now. You have heard me say, buy low, buy when others are fearful, buy when there's blood in the streets, and that's exactly what's happening. You guys have also heard of these whales or people or billionaires misdirect, mislead. That's exactly what's happening. We have so much buying going on right now, so much Bitcoin leaving exchanges right now. The circulating supply of Bitcoin is dropping like a rock in the ocean right now, right? And these are things that measure the health of Bitcoin, the growth potential of Bitcoin, the accumulation of Bitcoin, right? So this is pretty big stuff. So could this lead to a major move to the upside? Sure. The more that's being taken out of the exchanges, the more that's taken out of circulation, the better it is, the more rare Bitcoin gets. And that's the market bell right there. Hey, market bell is working today, despite the fact I did not replace the battery. It just magically starts working. That's the power of George. All right, so there's that. Also, if you look at Whale Alert, there's just tons of Bitcoin just being bought and transferred away. A ton of it. And if you look at Coinbase Pro, or just Coinbase, because there's no Coinbase Pro, but you could see massive spikes, not only being withdrawn, but massive volume across the board. So there's definitely some whale play going on right now, okay, which could lead to some huge movement in the near future. So pay attention. And also, Bloomberg's Mike McGlone still believes that, yeah, Bitcoin is oversold. Why wouldn't it be? It's been down since 69,000. Also, if you look at all these moving averages and indicators, they all show Bitcoin is extremely oversold. And according to Mike, if you look at the 100 weekly moving average and a 200 weekly moving average, Bitcoin is the most discounted it's ever been. So if you're looking for a buying opportunity, this is it, right? And I think the whales know that too. That's why they have been buying, probably via OTC market, just taking away billions upon billions upon billions of Bitcoin while retail investors are panicking. So don't let them take away all of your Bitcoins. All right. And then the last two things I want to talk about, Ripple. Ripple is unveiling a 250 million NFT creator fund. So that's obviously terrific. Ripple recently, they've been making some headline news. Just yesterday, I covered the fact that they have a side chain that's coming out that is going to be EVM compatible. So if it's successful, there will be more EVM dApps that's coming to Ripple's ledger. Now they're trying to draw in more NFT creators, $250 million creator fund. That's pretty positive too. So Ripple is still moving forward, regardless if, I guess, they win or lose to the SEC, although I do think they are going to win against the SEC as well. So these are all very positive stuff for Ripple, for those of you guys that love XRP. And then finally, I just decided to look at this because I've been hearing about how Ethereum is now deflationary. Is that true? If you look at this, yes, for the last day, you look at a supply growth, it's at negative 0.1%. Okay? And here's the interesting thing. This is a supply since the merge. And yes, it did go up, but you could see it peaked around here, October 8th, and since then, it's been coming down in a big way. But had Ethereum not gone to proof of stake and stayed in proof of work and was still releasing the same amount of ETH as before, take a look. The supply would have gone up 3.65% since the merge, just since the merge, not since the beginning of the year. So the supply would have increased almost 4% since then. Okay, you look at Bitcoin supply went up about 1.72. That's the current inflation rate until the next halving event. And look at Ethereum right now. Its inflation rate is at 0.06%. And if that burning continues, we will see that go into the negative percent pretty soon. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of ETH issuance dropping by 90%. It's working. It's working right now on a smaller scale, but as this goes on for years upon years upon years, you're definitely going to see a difference by having less ETH being created and pushed out to the market, right? So pretty good so far, and they're working on their next update, Shanghai update, and we'll see where that goes and when it's going to come out. All right, that's it, guys. Let's see the market, U.S. market. It didn't update yet. Let's do market watch. Yeah, it's looking good. 594 right now. NASDAQ 270. Bitcoin is still holding 19.6. I did see the entire crypto market cap has gone up slightly, but not that much movement. But generally speaking, when you see the U.S. market do so well, and then you go see it flow into crypto. All right, guys. Let's do some Q&A. LWJ, when did this bear market start? I don't know. It just kind of happened suddenly. I guess if you look at from our peak, that was in November, so you could argue December, but I would argue after the very first FOMC meeting, I think that was in January, end of January, that's probably when it started. Let's see. Here in Switzerland, they say Credit Suisse is not going to go broke. You think that's the truth? Because my pension funds are on Credit Suisse. I don't know, Elsa. I mean, it does seem like they're... actually, I can't even say that. I was going to say Credit Suisse does seem like they're in a better shape than Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, but who really knows? They lost a whole bunch of money last year. They just lost a whole bunch of money to the which department? They just had to pay a $500 million fine to the U.S. I forget which department, maybe the SEC. So, and then they're looking for liquidity too. They're trying to get loans from other places. So, I mean, you add it all up, it doesn't look good. And their stock has tanked however many percent. So I would just stress, be careful. Be careful. If you could get your pension to another bank, maybe that would be a wiser move. But I know that's pretty hard to do, especially if it's, if it's controlled by your company or whoever. But yeah, it's really hard to say. It's hard to say. Dan, Ether's 200-year projections look good. I've invested long term. 200-year projection? I don't think we'll be around in 200 years. But I'm waiting and bullish on Baby Doge. Well, okay. I can't say anything to the second part. You know what? So many people, I finally looked it up. A lot of people have been asking me that ISO 2002 nonsense crap and asking me about the crypto projects that are ISO compliant and stuff. You guys got to know that is the future of Swift. That's the future of banking. So if you want coins to operate with the banks, to operate within the financial systems, then yeah, you would argue, okay, these ISO compliant coins are great. But crypto's created to go against these guys, to allow people to be their own banks and create these payment rails that people can use day to day, right? So there's a lot of people, or at least there were a lot of people in the chat asking, oh, what do you think about this being ISO compliant and this and that? You know what? I don't think it's a big thing because it's a new standard that supposedly Swift is going to implement and banks are going to implement. This is all for the legacy systems, not for the future. The future is blockchain and distributed ledger and decentralization, not legacy systems. So just thought I'd give my 2 cents about that. Merrick, Mr. Wick HD. Hopefully you read this after your stream. Check this out. Check what out? I don't know. You didn't post anything. Double top DXY. You know what? I didn't check DXY today. What is the DXY at? Ooh, DXY went down. 111. That's pretty good. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Well, that when you zoom out 1 year, it's not good. But did we get a double top? Well, we hit 114, and we were close to that. So did we form a double top? I don't know. I just got done saying, it's a mess in the UK with the Bank of England. As long as the sterling and the pound is still messed up, the yen is messed up, the euro is messed up, DXY probably won't fall that much, but just even a little bit would be great. Dent? I've never really been big on Dent. It made a good move in 2021, which is surprising, but they're trying to decentralize mobile networks, which I think is really hard. But they're trying to utilize this new technology, eSIM, so that you can kind of travel anywhere without worrying about getting SIM cards and just hopping on networks, buying mobile data, and you can trade mobile data and stuff like that. It's a neat concept, but I don't know. I still think they're at mercy at their local carriers. Wherever you go, you can only hop on at carriers and the local ones, and you're at their mercy, right? Maybe if they somehow created some kind of global network using Starlink or something, and then you're not at the mercy of the local carriers in whatever country you're in, I think that would be a game changer, but I don't think that exists yet. But maybe in the future. UFO gaming is supposed to be, I remember UFO gaming. They're Ethereum based, but they're coming out with their NFT project or a marketplace on Cadena. But yeah, this horrible. How many decimal points is that? So their token, I don't even know what you call this, token economics or distribution. I don't even know like what you say for how many decimal points it has, but it's not good. It's not good. So I don't know if they came out with their game because all these kind of promising gaming projects, none of them has really delivered. All right. Maybe they're a platform. I thought that was a game. Maybe they're a platform, but let's see. That's a pretty cool trailer, except no game looks like that. Yeah. I'll try to keep my eye on them. Could Swift ever get replaced by crypto? Well, that's what XRP Army thinks. You know, one day using some kind of bridge currency to do transactions. So, yeah, theoretically it can happen, Dan. No, Celsius didn't try to. No. Dan, I think you're confused on what Swift does. Swift is just basically a very old legacy way for banks to verify transactions. They send messages to each other, and it's very cumbersome. It's very slow. And that's what Bitcoin does, what a lot of crypto does. Distributed ledger can verify transactions within seconds. So, yes, it could definitely be replaced. Stock market is acting like crypto with 3% daily swings. I mean, right now, let's see. Right now, it's looking pretty good. Yesterday was looking pretty good. So, I don't know. This could be a start. Remember Pumptober? Maybe it started. I told you guys, November, December traditionally has been very good for markets. And we're getting close to that. So could be the start of it. What are your thoughts on Luna Classic being supported by Neblio? Zero, because Neblio's why, I mean, not to be mean about Neblio, but why should we care if Neblio supports them? Neblio was a project that was way too hyped up. I called basically everyone out about Neblio because while I was pumping, everyone was saying, "Oh, it's the greatest project ever." And then I looked at their team, and they had one full-time developer who also acted as like CEO, co-CEO, a couple of consultant guys, and then one other founder that I don't know what she was doing, but you know, there was no way they were sustainable. And I don't even know if they're around. Do you think it's possible for BTC to go to 14K for final capitulation? Sure, anything's possible. Is it likely? No. But is it possible? Yes. I don't have any opinion on this, though. I don't trust any of these new decentralized social networks. None of them, none of the past ones succeeded. They all failed miserably. No one jumped onto them. This new one, I don't have much hope for either. Ben just made a video about BTC's final capitulation. Made quite a good case for BTC following the final dump in 2018. That's true. I mean, I do remember that. I do remember in 2018, Bitcoin was stuck at like 6,000 for a while. And it looked like Bitcoin was about to pump. There was an imminent pump. And then it dropped from 6,000 down to 3,000. Then we recovered, right? Can something like that happen again? Sure. It can happen. Is it likely? No, but who knows? This was started because we had massive dumping by Mt. Gox. And back then, in 2017, 2018, there was no true big institutions holding Bitcoin by the billions like now, right? So the environment was different. Bitcoin was much smaller. And you had basically a whole bunch of retail people. That's it. Mt. Gox dumped a whole bunch on people. And there was also another event that happened around this time. I forgot what. There was one other event where there was massive selling due to one something. I can't think of it right now. So, and of course, after that, we had a massive dump too right here, a capitulation dump. Because of the pandemic, the start of it, and people were panicking left or right. But we came back. So can we experience another panic dump down? It could happen. I won't discount it because it has happened before. But looking at the environment right now, it's just very different. Very, very different. You look at how much Bitcoins Sailor owns and all these other big companies owns. You look at like Grayscale, how much they hold. You look at all the other ETF and ETPs, how much they hold, how much countries hold, how much holders hold. And you look at the environment now where it's not anti-Bitcoin and crypto like before. The amount of money in the space is just so much bigger. And here's another thing. Is look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is low. Altcoin dominance is very high. Also shows you that a lot of people are staking and leaving their crypto to earn interest while things are low. That didn't happen in 2018. That didn't happen in 2019 or 2020. No one staked anything. DeFi was non-existent. DeFi didn't really pick up until end of 2020 and 2021. So that's also different versus before. So again, can it happen? Yes. Is it likely? I say no. Do you think Shiba Inu is dying? It's a great project. What I'm looking for when it gains to zero. Dan, I don't think Shiba is dying. I actually thought it would die more because of the current market conditions, but it has held pretty strong. So if you're waiting for it to drop to zeros, it's not going to happen. It's actually holding quite strong, and there's a lot of things happening with SHIB that could drive it higher. Rich says it's a lot harder to scare off current BTC holders in today's environment. It is. Because again, people are learning, right? People are educating themselves about what's going on with the banks and so forth. I mentioned that, but also people are learning from their past mistakes. There's a lot of people that came in 2018, they survived all the way to 2021, right? They were rewarded handsomely. Now we're going down again, and a lot of people just realize, hey, it's just better to be DCAing and holding. That's it. You know, it's not good to be panic dumping or panic trading. So yeah, and then plus there's just more usage now. And you see all these brands and banks, you know, trying to play catch up. So if BTC collapses 10K, this will mean an 85% drop. How long will it take to recover to all-time highs? Dan, I have no idea. No idea. LWJ, appreciate it. Holder strategies. When did you sell your coins to survive the bear market? Well, I've done that in 2018, 2019, 2020, and every single thing I sold, I regretted. Very much so. So, almost nothing. So, I did not sell much in 2021, 2022. I've been buying a lot more. So, but I was smart that in 2021, I've learned from my past mistakes. You know, I keep telling you guys, don't go all in, you know, sprout your buys. That's exactly what I did. Prior years, if there's FOMO, I'll just like go all in, right? Spend all my money. And then I realized when things went down, I didn't have anything to buy with. So I decided to keep large amounts of cash on the side, right? And that's how I came up with the new strategy, have 20, 25, 30% cash on side all times so that you could keep buying in and DCing over long haul. So that's what I did. So you got to learn, right? You got to learn from your past mistakes. It's not about how fast or how much you fall, right? It's about getting back up and keep going. DXY crashing. We want to see DXY crash. Bitcoin has not moved yet, surprisingly, with a good market. But where's DXY? DXY, can we see that double top? Well, hopefully, although the second top didn't go as high as the first top. I don't know, by definition, you got to have two identical tops. It's pretty close, but not off a little bit. LWJ, you did. I don't know. I saw it. At least a sticker. You go do a ribbon cutting ceremony at your home? No, I'm not. I'm just going to enjoy it. But I'm glad a lot of you guys are enjoying those update videos. You know, I don't know if you guys really find it interesting, but I do. I'm excited about it. So I've been creating more, and there's more to come, and more exciting things are going to come. But one thing that I've learned is everything is super, super, super expensive right now. Very, very expensive. Everything has gone up tremendously within the last 2 years. Inflation is real. It's real. Joseph, Joseph's asking if I'm worried about hacks on exchanges. You know what? That's why I tend to stick with the big ones. I have a lot in my wallets, my cold wallet, my mobile wallets. You know, I have a lot off the exchanges. And the best thing is to keep most of it off the exchanges. But I do have a significant amount on exchanges too. But the ones that I use are the big guys like Binance, KuCoin, and Gemini. I mean, these are big exchanges, right? Dabbed into some of the smaller exchanges like my sponsor MEXC. I think they're a pretty good KuCoin alternative. But I don't dab into a lot of the unknown exchanges, right? For that very reason, because I don't know if I trust them or not. And the same thing with DEXs too. I do have a good amount in my browser wallet, so I could utilize the DEXs. But again, I only stick with the DEXs that are big, relatively known, right? The ones that just won't do a rug pull, right? So right now, it's about reputation, really. Why Japanese doesn't raise interest rates? Because they just operate differently. Um, you know, they're just they don't want. I guess the thing is they're afraid that as a country they go into like deflation depression mode because Japanese people, I would say most Asians in most Asian countries are very different than Americans in a way that they like to save money. They really like to save, which is very different than what's happening in the US, which is everyone's spending. So, the Bank of Japan does not want to be restrictive and raise rates. This is just what I'm thinking. Because they don't want people of Japan to save even more, because if everyone is saving and no one is buying and there's zero economic growth, that leads to worse things. Japan saw that in the 80s. I think it's a decade of non-growth, and it was very detrimental to their growth, right? Obviously, because there's no growth. So I think they're trying to prevent something like that from happening. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if that's the reality of the situation, but I'm just speculating that could be the reason why. What do you think about Arculus? I've been dabbing with them too. They're not a cold wallet. They're like a mobile wallet with an extra layer of protection. And so far, it's pretty good. Dan, USTC had a huge pump over last week. I knew it was just FOMO suggesting, okay. Yeah, that's why I don't pay attention to a lot of pumps, especially from USTC or Luna Classic. I mean, right now it's all driven by whales right now. There's no activity on the chain. And the burning is a joke, and I've said that all along, so yeah. How bullish are you on Near when they have algorithmic stablecoin? Isn't that a deal breaker? Well, even if they remove that, it's not going to kill Near. I'm not even sure how much their algorithmic stablecoin is being used. But at one point in time, I was very scared that their stablecoin would also depeg and just drop. I think it did for a little bit. What is, I forgot, USDN? I forgot if this was their stable coin. It could be, or maybe it's something else. But a lot of these algorithmic stable coins, hopefully they've learned from UST, and hopefully they redid their algorithms to make it much harder to depeg and harder to dump. Hopefully. I don't know. We like to think some of these projects learn from past mistakes, but unfortunately we still see a lot of these past mistakes come up time and time again. How much would Matic affect ETH with their pumps? Not really. I don't think their pumps have anything to do with the Ethereum pumps, but as Matic gets stronger, I think it'll complement Ethereum, and I do think Polygon has a good shot of really moving up in the charts. What was the overall market cap of the last bull run? Because until we reach that, we can't regain crash losses from coins. Yeah, that's not happening. I think if you're talking about the bottom, I remember in 2020, it was either 2020 or 2019. I forgot which bottom, but the global market cap was at 110 billion. So we're roughly like 9 times higher than that. So if you're expecting overall crypto market cap to drop another 90% from here. I just don't think that's going to happen. All right, let's see here. What the hell is this? French company to plead guilty pays more than $700 million on charges of bribing ISIS as terror group killed Westerners. Wow. I don't know what that's about. Home builder sentiment drops half to what it was 6 months ago. Yeah, not good. Not good overall. But today's market is looking good. Does GM's new $300,000 EV car? That's just an absolute joke. They're so not tuned with reality. They're so out of touch with reality. They think they can sell a $300,000 car right now. And it's not even a supercar. It's just like a new EV car. Anyways, overall, guys, is looking good today. So stay strong. There's still a lot of people, especially banks these days, spreading a lot of FUD. But we know we're holding on to the right asset, and that's Bitcoin. So let's see what happens today, and let's see what happens. Do we enter that Christmas rally? I hope so. I hope so. All right, I'll see you guys tonight. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. AA says I'm Andrew Tate Crypto YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.